Good morning. Today is Thursday, April 17th. I'm Elizabeth Hasselbeck. When it comes to things that matter, do you think the president is telling you the truth? Take a listen.
If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan. Period.
Did that sound like the truth to you? Now, a brand new Fox study and poll showing Americans are catching on. The results, they're going to stun you.
So who do the American people trust? Hillary Clinton, a woman with decades of scandals behind her? Why does she get a clean slate over those other two men pictured there? We're going to do some splaining, Clayton.
I like splaining. Good morning. It's Throwback Thursday. Steve's trading in his iPad for a typewriter today.
Oh, boy.
Steve, we want to see your best throwback photos, and we are sharing ours. They're pretty terrible. Mornings are better with friends. Fox and Friends starts right now.
Hi, this is Cloris Leachman.
And you're watching Fox and Friends.
And you're watching Fox and Friends.
You look like a young Ernest Hemingway there. What
do.
novel were you penning at the time?
I would have been a senior in high school there, out in Industry, Kansas, at my little Smith Corona, my first typewriter.
Your dimly lit
Fantastic.
desk.
Right. By candlelight.
I was up in the attic. That's back, if you notice, you can barely see my hair, but I had a lot of hair back then. It's back when a lot of guys had hair like a helmet.
It's blending into the wood paneling. It's so hard to see.
For all I know, I was the wood paneling.
That hair ended up coming back, though.
It did.
We had about 2 years of that hair. High schoolers.
You know what? Bieber kind of stole my look.
That's right, he did.
And my tats, but that's a whole nother story. So today is TBT, Throwback Thursday. We would love it if you sent us some of your pictures from back in the day. Email them to us, friends@foxnews.com. You can also tweet us and Facebook us.
We'll be looking for them all show.
And Throwback Thursday, if you look at what the president is dealing with right now, if the president could go back to 2008 and throw back to the halcyon days, the salad days, the early days of the president's administration, his poll numbers through the roof, and Americans hopeful and trusting of what the president had to say at the time. But a new Fox News poll pales in comparison to that.
You're right. If you could even throw back just to a year ago, these would have been opposite here. You know, this new poll actually showed that 60% of voters think the president lies to the country on important matters, some or most of the time. And of those that believe that the president lies on important matters, some or most of the time, 60% of those are Republicans. And important to note, 41% of those who believe those lies occur are independents.
Also, when it comes to the people who responded, the people who say he lies most of the time on important issues, 12% of blacks, 31% of unmarried women, 34% of people under the age of 30. What's interesting is, of all the voters, and regarding whether or not you think that our president lies at all, 15% say he never lies. Only 15%.
Only 15%.
Which means a majority of the people who actually voted for him now realize, wait a minute, maybe he's pulling my legs some of the time on important issues.
Challenges ahead, because 42% of voters approve of the job that he's doing right now.
Or is it that no matter when someone does something wrong or says something inaccurate, they're always going to defend you like your mom would? You know, oh, little Stevie, he's always saying those things, but I love him in the end. If you look at some of the scandals that the president has had to deal with, these are some of the biggest false statements that we've been talking about here on the show. First of all, the video. Of course, the video, and you had Susan Rice going on the Sunday talk shows to talk about the video that sparked the Benghazi attack, that al-Qaeda was on the run and decimated. We now know that that's not the case.
No, and, you know, we go back to that poll there with those key voting groups is what those lies indicated. So when you have the 12% of black voters, 31% of unmarried women, and 34% under the age of 30, that there will end up posing a challenge to the White House. They may be the most shocked by this polling, because they're going to have to focus on that as they look at these other lies that have, you know, given the Pinocchio.
And the Pinocchio, the Washington Post gave the Pinocchio of the year to the President of the United States for Pants on Fire, with the biggest lie, they said, of the year, which was when the President repeatedly said, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor as well. And there are others as well. I mean, I started to make a list, and then I filled up this entire page of stuff.
Right.
I mean,
it would have been environmentally, you know, just insensitive, Steve.
How far we've come from George Washington, I cannot tell a lie, to the stage where we're at right now, where essentially you've got a Pinocchio presidency. Yeah. You know, some people say lies. Others would say the president is telling an untruth. Regardless, there are so many times, and these were not campaign promises. You know, a lot of guys and gals who are running for things promise things that never happened. These are just flat out untruths.
Which
And
can
you
be
look
proven.
at, and let's look at 2016, how this thing could shape up, and who's the most truthful of those candidates right now. Because according to a new Fox News poll, honest and trustworthy. If you look ahead, Hillary Clinton comes out on top at 54% for the most honest and trustworthy. That beats out Jeb Bush, and actually by a pretty sizable margin beats out Chris Christie, governor of New Jersey.
You know what's interesting about that poll is, remember, it wasn't too long before the whole bridge thing hit the mainstream media fan, where Chris Christie was actually leading Hillary Clinton.
Sure.
But then the mainstream media and some cynics on the right would say, well, they were just trying to take Chris Christie out because he posed the greatest threat for Hillary Clinton. Nonstop coverage on all the channels about that Bridgegate thing. And when you think about the two potential candidates, you got Chris Christie, who, you know, a while back was involved, his administration put up 25 traffic cones in Fort Lee, New Jersey, and generated hundreds of hours of mainstream media Bridgegate television. And then far screen right, you got Hillary Clinton, who ran the State Department, which denied extra security for Libya, and 4 Americans wind up dying. I mean, that is quite a contrast. You've got 25 orange cones versus 4 dead Americans. But you got the mainstream media, and they beat the drum
Sure.
for Chris Christie against him, and nobody over on the other side of the channel is really covering Benghazi.
Well,
unless us.
perception and reality are two different things. I think it is, in the past, you know, women have polled better in terms of trust when it comes to politics. But again, as you mentioned, you know, this is a woman who has been ridden with scandal in the past, particularly recently when we talk about Benghazi and 4 Americans dead. She is still found to be more trustworthy at this point. Go figure.
You can weigh in on our Facebook page this morning, Fox and Friends.